For nearly 30 years, U.S. medical device companies built their quality systems around 21 CFR Part 820. As of February 2nd, 2026, that era's over. The FDA has replaced the old QSR with the QMSR, formally incorporating ISO 1345 into federal regulation. But even if you're already 1345 certified, you're probably not fully compliant, and if your QMS software was built around the old Part 820 structure, it may not map how the FDA will actually inspect you now. That's why I'm breaking down what changed, where companies are most exposed, and what it means for your QMS software. So what actually changed? Well, basically the FDA changed the old 21 CFR Part 820 to the new QMSR regulations. Part 820 still exists, but now it just tells you to go look at ISO 1345, making it a lot shorter. But here's the important part. This isn't the FDA saying, hey, ISO 1345 is a nice thing to follow. They incorporate it by reference, so now it carries the full force of federal law. If you make or sell devices in the US, this compliance is no longer optional. They also changed a lot of the terminology that quality professionals have used their entire careers. DHF, DMR, DHR, gone from the regulation. They've been replaced with ISO-aligned equivalents, design and development file, medical device file, and batch and lot record. They're mostly the same, but the language has shifted. On top of that, the FDA retired its old inspection approach, QSIT, and replaced it with the new risk-based compliance program. Now, if you want a deeper dive into ISO 1345, we have a guide on our website and a video breaking down the basics. Or maybe after hearing this, you're already thinking you need a QMS that actually lines up with the new rules. If you want to compare options, we actually have a full roundup of the top medical device QMS software at softwareconnect.com. Link is in the description below. All right, so now that we covered the basics, I want to talk about the 3 biggest changes that I think pose the most risk. While there are a lot more that I don't have time to cover in this video, these are the ones that I've seen catch many companies off guard. The first major change is regarding the exemption section 820.180. This specifically shielded your management review records, your internal audit reports, and your supplier audit reports from FDA inspection. They could ask you to clarify in writing that these activities happen, but they couldn't actually look at the documents. Under QMSR, that exemption is gone. Inspectors can now review those records directly. And here's why that matters. Many companies treated those documents differently because they knew the FDA couldn't see them. Whether they were incomplete or just written in a way that made sense internally, but wouldn't look great in front of an inspector. I would double check to make sure these are inspection ready. Another big change involves risk management. Under the old QSR, risk was mostly explicitly required in design controls. So naturally, a lot of companies treated risk management as a design FMEA activity. You don't risk analysis through design reviews, you document it and move on. That's all changed. Under the QMSR, risk-based decision-making is required across 7 different clauses like purchasing and CAPA. It has to run through your entire quality system. So if you have risk files sitting only in your design controls and nowhere else, that's a gap an auditor is going to find. For most businesses, this means risk-based thinking needs to be embedded into every major procedure. This can be fixed with a few changes, though for many, it'll change their entire quality structure. The last change is supplier controls. Before you could get by with only approved supplier lists and incoming inspections. That's not going to cut it anymore. The QMSR follows ISO 1345 here, which requires risk-based supplier evaluation. This means you need to assess the risk of the purchased product, what happens if the supplier fails, and how that impacts your device and your compliance. So something like an office supply vendor is a low-risk control, but a sterilization contractor is a high-risk control. And for each one, you need a documented rationale and monitoring frequency that matches the risk. For companies managing dozens or hundreds of suppliers, this is probably where QMSR hits hardest on a day-to-day basis. So those are 3 of the biggest challenges in the new rule. So the question becomes, who's most exposed? The most high-risk manufacturers are those who only complied with QSR and never pursued ISO 1345. These companies will definitely need to restructure their quality processes to meet these standards. The other high-risk group? Businesses still running quality processes on paper or spreadsheets. The QMSR expects an interconnected, traceable, risk-based quality system. It's really hard to demonstrate with a folder of Excel files when an inspector is sitting across from you. Speaking of software, let's talk about how QMS is effective. If you already have software, you're probably wondering, does this actually support the way the FDA inspects now? Here's what to look for. First, make sure risk management is woven in, not bolted on. That means risk decisions linked to design, purchasing, and production, and aren't siloed in standalone modules. Secondly, traceability needs to be across the full system. Everything from design to CAPA should all be connected and auditable in a single thread. And third, make sure it still supports CFR Part 11. ISO uses the word approved, but never specifies signatures and dates. The FDA clarified that still means Part 11 governs electronic records and e-signatures. It's one of the key areas where ISO compliance alone isn't enough. Several QMS platforms are built specifically for medical device manufacturers and support QMSR compliance, including Greenlight Guru and Qualio. They offer pre-validated environments and built-in workflows aligned to ISO 1345 and FDA requirements. Other general systems that still help comply with QMSR include ETQ Reliance, Unipoint, and Qt9. But at the end of the day, no software is a guarantee. You'll still need to validate them for your intended use, write and follow your own procedures, and make sure your team uses them correctly. That's why at Software Connect, we work with you to find the best QMS for your exact needs. If you want expert help and save weeks of research, visit softwareconnect.com and book a free call with us. With that said, let's quickly recap. QMSR is the biggest change to device quality regulations in the past 30 years. But the underlying goal here hasn't changed. Build safe, effective devices with a quality system that proves it. Only now, you just need to be aligned with ISO 1345 while you do it. So if you're in the market for a new QMS, check out our other video comparing the best options for medical device manufacturers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.